Well, this looks like some fun to be had. Maybe some chaos. And maybe just a little bit of history. G'day everybody and welcome back to the channel. It's another hot, steamy day here in New South Wales, so it was a chance to sit down and talk to you about the latest project. Stumbled across this one. So I was recently on a large social media platform looking at their for sale section, and this particular stationary motor popped up with it's free, but I want to see it running again. So the story behind this belonged to a gentleman who passed away, and his son advertised it. I jumped on it. A friend of mine went and picked it up. Spent a few weeks sitting in Brisbane. I picked it up last week. I brought it back here, and here we go. What is it? It's a Massey 2 horsepower Type A, also made in Australia as a Sundial by I think it's FW Mackay. I could be wrong. I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. Anyway, there are a number of them. Where did this one come from? So 1980, which is a long time ago, this was recovered from the Cairns slipway, where it was used to winch in lifeboats in and out. That's the story as I had it. Here's a photo of how it looked in 1980. And it hasn't really changed much. Also, apologies for the rave going on at my neighbour's house. I live in one of those neighbourhoods. So, picked it up, got it home, haven't really had a good look at it yet. I've had a bit of a look. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at what we've got, what we found, and then what we're going to do what we're going to do with it from there. So let's go walk about, get rid of this, and have some more of this. So this is Massey Harris number 4252. It's a Type A. It's 2 horsepower, and it's supposed to do about 600 RPM. It's water cooled. It runs on a spark with some fuel, which comes from the carburetor, which is down under here. The fuel tank's supposed to go here. It has 2 flywheels, one on each side. So the right hand flyer, or is it going to be the right hand, or are we looking from the other end? From this end, the right hand flywheel has the governor mechanism on it, which stops it from running away. On the left hand side is where the magneto sits and the valve timing occurs. We'll have a look at that in a minute. It's an open crank stationary motor, so when this is running, the crank spins around this way, I think. Well, it doesn't matter which way it runs today, but there's no cover over it. The cylinder, which is in there, well, that's where the cylinder's supposed to go, is oiled via an oiler, which sits up on here, which I don't have. The magneto sits on this. Like I said, spark plug. Inlet valve is atmospheric, so as the cylinder pulls away, pulls the air in, and exhaust is mechanically actuated via a cam that spins off the crank, which also powers the magneto. With me so far? Well, let's hope so. Exhaust pipe has had some repairs and screws out eventually. Here we go. Yes, no, yes we go. And then see if we can get it to adjust. Can't quite see it. The exhaust valve is just here, and oh, there we go. You can see the valve opening and closing. On the Type B's, the exhaust came out the side. Oh, now we're out of focus. But on the Type A's, the exhaust goes up. What else can we see from here? Oh, here's another view of the carby. I don't know a lot about this style of carburetor, but we're going to learn. It's not on its official stand. It's on a temporary stand. We're out of focus again. And that's the motory part, the big bit, the engine bit. You can also see the cylinder down inside there. So I haven't taken the head off. I'm not going to do that today. There's a gasket here which I want to preserve, but everything looks as it should. So that's what we've got. We also have the magneto, which is the most expensive part of the whole show. It doesn't have a tag on it. the magneto does also have the timing marks on it for timing the motor, which we don't know much about yet either. Flywheels, so this is looking from this end. This is the left hand flywheel, this is the right hand flywheel, there's the pulley, and this is some of the governor mechanism, which we already know we're in some trouble with. And in this bucket we have lots of treasure. So what I'm going to do is take all of this out. This isn't the official fuel tank. This is the cylinder. I do have the pin that goes across the side from side to side. We found that in the bucket, which was good. The old owner found it. And we've got all this stuff. So I'm going to pull all of this out and put on the table into, it doesn't belong, it might belong, and it definitely does belong, and we'll see what we're up against. So I'll be back in a minute. Righto, so what have we got? Got an engine block. We're missing the oiler from the top of here. It's a clear oiler. We don't have anything that size. I've found enough grease cups and oil cups and various other things to go in the 1, 2, 3, it goes in that in 4 key parts. Not worried about that. The cylinder, it's a bit hard to see. Like I said, there's plenty of schmutz in there. The valves look pretty good. We've got the magneto, important. We don't have the high tension lead that goes with it. That's fine. That's what the internet's for. Does it work? Don't know, we'll find out later. Gudgeon pin, found it. It was found by someone else and then we found it again. It is the right size. It will fit in there. We just have to clean all the surface rust off. We found the bearings for the connecting rod, and that's really exciting. We also found 2 extra nuts so we can double nut that on. How are the bearings? Well, to my naked eye, knowing not much about not much, they look pretty good, but that's a later on problem. We found a couple of springs. Now, from what I've seen in various places, sometimes these run 2 springs. I do have a parts manual coming. We're not throwing them away. They're probably nothing, but we're keeping them. A couple of split pins, a couple of spinny wing nuts. It's always good to have a couple of brass nuts. They can go in that tub. We found another one of these, which looks a lot like this. The one that's on there doesn't have a part number. This one says X1229. So when the part book gets here, we'll check. We found a whole heap of shims that'll go under here. So these might not have shims under them. So we'll have to have a look at that. Put them in the to be saved bucket. Found a spark plug. Found a broken rocker arm. Found a Welsh plug. Don't need one of them. Found one of these square-headed bolts. The only place I've seen a square-headed bolt in this so far is here, and that holds this cam gear on, but we're not going to throw that away. We're going to put that in the mystery bucket. We found a couple of D-shackles. We'll keep them somewhere and I'll put them somewhere useful. You can never have too many D-shackles. What else did we find? So here's all the cups. We've got wicks. We've got grease cups. This is the one I'm pretty confident will go in here. Maybe. No, that might be a bit small still. Anyway, we've got lots of those. They can go in the to be saved bucket. Pretty sure this big one goes on the end of there. We've got 2 of those, but they're 2 different sizes. There's one small one and one big one. They're in the to be investigated bucket. Put the springs and split washers in. We'll keep the gear out. Connecting rod can stay there. We'll stick that nut on the end. Does it need to be double nutted? Don't know. Is it going to fit? Don't know. Might not fit actually. Anyway, we'll keep that in the bucket. Found 3 ball bearings. Don't know if we need them. We're going to keep them. Some tool steel. Again, don't know if it's needed, but it is too loose for here. So it's probably not that. We've got one of these keys that I can't remember the name for today, but it's still in my head in. Anyway, that's a keeper. We need another one of those. Full steel can go in that one. We found a tool to remove these. Keeping that. Some other tools which can go, an electrical thing that can go. Don't know where they're from, but they are munged. So they're going in the knot bucket. They're going in the knot bucket. We know what they are. Angle grinder handle. Don't know what this is. Putting that somewhere safe. Here are the oilers we found. These are not for this engine, but I have one in the shed that might fit on. And some random stuff. What else did we find? We found this. Now I don't know what that's from, so we're going to have a look and keep that for later. And I've done that, I've done them, we've done this, and which brings us to, and the fuel tank, which is going to sit there. I'm going to try and find a better fuel tank. So, what's our problem? Well, this is our problem. This is the magnet, not the magneto, this is the governor. There should be 2 of these. I've got 2 pins, which is very exciting. There should be 2 springs. Got 2 springs, and I also have 2 more springs in a plastic baggie. It's a bit exciting. That's the bit that goes on the crank. Here's the adjuster, which goes through there. And here is the arm to which it all attaches. And there's a random nut that can go in that bucket. So, we are short the other one of these. It's probably gone forever, but Vic, if you're watching and you see it, let me know. There's also potentially a yoke that goes in this, that moves in and out, that I'm looking for. So, yeah, so let's see where we're at. Found a use for the fuel tank, just putting the camera on. So, here's the plan. The parts manual arrives hopefully next week when I finish work, or this, it's Monday today, this week. Hopefully by the end of the week it'll be here. I can then go through and cross-reference all the bits I've got against all the bits I've got, including the bucket of mystery down here. Then we can start trying to find the bits we're missing, like this little counterweight and the bit that goes on this that moves this in and out. Now, I don't know the name of that yet because this is my first one of these ever. So when I get the book, we'll get our terminology better. I promise we'll get it better because I'll know what they're called according to the book. So that's the next step, is to work out what's actually here and what's missing. Like I said, the fellow that entrusted this to me, he's going to have a look through his storage shed. If he finds one of them, I'm going to pay him to post it to me, or I'll drive up and get it. It's only 500 miles behind me. This connecting rod for the governor, I believe, was in backwards, or part of this is in backwards, or I'm not really sure. Again, parts manual required. We'll keep that there. So yeah, there you go. Any questions, fire away. But that's the Massey Harris 2 horsepower Type A, number 4252, at my house, and added to the list of things to do. Thanks for watching. See you next time. So that's the inside of the cylinder. It does have some dead stuff in it. It's not terribly pitted, but it does have some surface rust. And yes, I have coated everything in WD-40, and I am going to start to try and preserve it a bit better. It's much drier here than where it was in Queensland, but that won't stop it doing surface rust. Next time I think we'll take this apart and just try and get it all on the bench, laid out. But for now, it's time to go and do some more jobs. Let's be serious. You always knew I was going to do something after I'd finished talking. Ooh, that's got a big chunk out of it. That's not good. Yeah, it was not too bad. So we're going to put these back on the same side as where they were, and as expected, no shims. And that's a better look at the cylinder. It does have surface rust on it, but pretty confident that it's not too bad. Not going to mess with this gasket just yet. It looks like there's a copper sheet and another one behind it. I'll let that just relax a bit before I take it off. But everything else has come off pretty reasonably well. It clearly wasn't assembled to run. It was just loosely assembled, which is fine. That one might unscrew. Magneto bracket, governor bracket, which has been repaired previously. The exhaust rocker, which I'm pretty sure should have a nut on the end of this, but again, parts manual will tell a big story. And this is the head and the carby, so pretty happy with the head. The valve looks reasonably good, and the carby, like I said, I don't know much about these carbies. I just know that they suck air through here and they pull fuel up through here from a tank below, and that's the choke, which obviously the governor works back and forwards to slow the engine down. So I'm assuming that's to turn the fuel on and off, but again, not my cup of tea just yet. And there we go. See you next time.